Good morning. This morning I feel like God's asking me to talk about stress. I'm sure there's not a single person out here that can't identify with having been stressed at some point or another in their lives or all the time. A lot of us, today's world is extremely stressful. So, as any of you that know me know that I spent nearly 2 years, in the hospital with one of my sons. He was born with some serious medical conditions that he wasn't even supposed to live at all. And God worked a lot of miracles for him. But in the meantime, he coded 9 times while he was there. And we had no idea why. And for those of you that don't know what that means, basically his heart stopped. That was not all the times he nearly died. Several other times there were situations that happened that were actually worse than some of his codes, that he came closer to dying. So, as you can imagine, besides living in the hospital, he has a twin brother. So, living in the hospital, trying to take care of another infant, dealing with him trying to die on you every few weeks. I have experienced my fair share of stress. And there were times where it was just like, don't talk to me because I can't handle it right now. Lots of times. If it was somebody I knew from there who was familiar with the issues that he went through, what those medical conditions were, the terminology of all the equipment that he had to use, and they're like, how's he doing? I could actually tell you how he was doing. But if you didn't know any of that, I did not have the mental energy to tell you anything. It was like, he's good, he's bad. That was about as far as it went. Because the stress was unimaginable. So, it got to a point at some point where, and my husband would tell me, honey, you need to take it to God. And he was right. But I'm like, how does that even look? And it was to the point, I remember walking down the hall one day going, okay, I could go insane, literally. Or I'm going to have to figure out how to let God handle this. And I realize I have no feeling at all that it's right. But I understand why women with babies that have complicated medical issues would abandon them in the hospital. Because that's how intense it is. And especially, we did this for nearly 2 years. Those cases that are long term, it would have been easier if the baby had died. Because the not knowing what's going to happen, the stress of wondering, is today that 4 a.m. call gonna be the final one? Whatever. It's just unimaginable. So it's like, I understand why women abandon their babies in the hospital. I do not condone it at all. But I have a lot of compassion, because you have to face the choice of going stark raving insane or God. And so I remember walking down the hall one day going, okay, God, I can't do this anymore. And not having a clue how to let him carry my burdens. Because he says, I want to carry your burdens. I died on the cross so you didn't have to carry all these hard things that the world is going to dish out to you. And I just held up my hands and I said, okay, God, here it is. Here's all this stress. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I literally held my hands up and said, here you go. It's yours now. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. And immediately there was this, but what about, I have a child that's trying to die on me every few days. How is it okay to not be worried, to not be stressed about it? And I realized, okay, that's not God. And so I had to reject that. But after that, and I had to do this quite a few times through the next while, but after that, I was much more okay. I didn't feel like I was going to go insane any minute here. And so, as simple as it sounds, that's what God has taught me about how to let Him handle my stress. To just literally hold up my hands and say, okay, God, it's your problem now. You said you would take care of it. It's your problem now. I am not going to worry about it anymore. And it changed my life. And I hope this is helpful for someone. But that's kind of as simple and as complicated as it gets. So, you have a fabulous, blessed day, and I will talk to you later.